a young high-tech startup based in Vancouver, Canada. And today I'm going to talk about social computing in holographic era, where it is not only important about advancement of technologies, but also how well we connect with one another.
Hello, everyone. That was actually my first slide through the technology that we have developed called HOLOS. Ever since the history, we have seen the progression of the technologies in terms of information media. From radio to television to computer to internet and wearables and virtual reality, all these technologies have formed a meaningful relationship for us in terms of how we see the digital world, the information, how we perceive that. And all the technologies have improved our experience. They've bridged the gap between man and machine. Right now, what we are working on is how do we bring the digital world into your life. We consider the future of holography an essential part of our research work at H+. We are pushing the boundaries of optical and laser holography so that one day we can truly interact with the unlocked pixels like we interact with the real life. It's also been said that by 2020, the entire stereoscopic display industry will be $112.9 billion. Before stepping into the technology, let me explain why. Why are we doing this? What is the purpose of developing such technologies? We at H+, we find some of the fundamental challenges with respect to impacting our social behavior when it comes to current interfaces. As you can see, in all these photographs, these are some of the normal moments that we would rather enjoy with each other when interestingly, there's no technology around and we have a wonderful life. But sometimes, the technologies and the current interface, especially the flat 2D screen, gets in our way. Imagine sitting on a dinner table, as you might all experience at times, and somebody pulls out the phone, and the person is disconnected from the rest of the people in the physical space. So this is a major problem of isolation. And we experience this within the groups of people, within friends, kids and parents, couple, with elderly people. We tend to be isolated at times. Moving forward, in further developing our technology, I take great inspiration from two individuals. And both of these individuals saw their work as a way of next information medium and how we could perceive digital world in future. One of them is Dennis Gabor. He won Nobel Prize in Physics in 1971 for his breakthrough in static holography. Since then, we haven't seen a lot of work, and we haven't seen a lot of breakthroughs, and there are a lot of challenges to overcome. And at H+, we are dedicated in terms of overcoming those challenges and producing results that are cost-effective, safe, and energy efficient. Second is John Henry Pepper. Very interesting, a brilliant and innovative scientist who essentially used technology to perform magic. He's known for using Pepper's Ghost effect to wow audience and to present the content that would truly lighten up the audience and think in terms of our relationship and how magic can be brought into this technology. Let me introduce. This is HOLOS. It converts flat 2D screen and flat 2D content into multidimensional 3D experience, a holographic experience. It simply does this by simply connecting any kind of computing device, whether tablet, computer, or even Xbox, PlayStation, and then you can see a given content from multiple different angles. It simulates a holographic experience through position tracking. We have special algorithms that does dynamic perspective correction through sensor fusion algorithms on your phone. When you connect your phone with Hollis, it can essentially get the relative position system with respect to Hollis, and then it presents a correct perspective depending on your position. It works up to 4 to 8 people at the same time. Next, when we are designing Hollis, we wanted to understand more about community. It's not just about creating technology, but also about understanding the design. What would be the purpose? We do identify some challenges, but we want to see what would community do with it. So we designed and developed our own software development kit and middleware solution, which is essentially a visual programming language that allows developers, designers, and artists to easily transform their current applications and games into Hollis-compatible one. As you'll see in the video, it can allow you to connect many sensors and many other hardware peripherals to create interesting holographic experiences. And we have designed this software development kit especially for Unity and Unreal Game Engine. Here are some of the possibilities with Hollis. So these were some of the possibilities that we essentially were cooking at our H+ labs. One of the finest use case that came out of Hollis was Magic Room. Let me explain you a little bit about that because it has a wonderful impact in terms of how it was able to overcome some of the social aspect and social challenges. We were fortunate enough to partner with Ronald McDonald House. It's a charitable organization all over the world which accommodates sick kids. And it provides homely environment for that. They were building a new house in Vancouver which can accommodate 73 families. And they wanted to build something called Magic Room. So we literally proposed a holodeck kind of experience where kids can go into the room and forget about their worries for a while. We worked with them over the course of 2 months to install a giant unit of Hollis, immersive 3D projection system, and a sound system and object detection gesture-based system so that kids can go into that room with very minimal learning effort. They can start interacting with this mediated environment, with this unlocked environment. And I'd like to present some of wonderful stories that came out of it, some of the very heart-touching stories. This is Macy's story. She is a 4-year-old girl who has a very unique virus called enterovirus D86. Around 3 kids in Canada have that virus, and when kids have that virus, they cannot walk and doctors cannot explain why. So Macy would visit Magic Room every day for 1 hour along with her mother, and she did this continuously for 1 month. Shockingly, after 1 month, her mother found Macy finding her balance, and she actually started walking. Now, we were amazed too. We have literally seen mothers crying, and this is one of the finest examples of our vision of humanizing technology. Now, this does not mean that Hollis has direct implications, medical implications, but it proves that it has psychological benefits, positive psychological benefits that can provide natural and intuitive interaction with unlocked pixels. Our company 3 years ago was founded in garage, and it was founded with this vision of humanizing technology. Let me explain you in very simple terms what it means for us. As you've seen through the presentation, for us, it means bringing this social digital campfire experience where people can have this cozy, harmonious environment and they are connected with each other in the physical space, forming meaningful relationship, at the same time enjoying the digital world. And we do that right now by unlocking the pixels, by truly becoming one with information. It's the idea of singularity where there are no barriers, there is no gap between physical and digital world, there is no differentiation. Finally, it's also about the designing applications that are human adaptive. Just in the case of Macy, she was very natural. She would go and play with the holographic characters, and it allowed her to overcome her sickness. Similarly, such human adaptive designs would be critical in terms of moving forward with the new era of holographic reality. Next, I'd like to show you some live demonstrations on how Holus actually works. It's a multi-user experience where I'll go through different use cases. I'd like to call assistant who can assist me with playing a few different demos. So it's going to be a 3-player experience where I'm one of the main controllers, and as you can see a character inside it right now. And let me show, this is an example of a collaborative game. It's a very simple concept right now. We three are little minions, and we have to form, we have to collaborate with one another. It's a very simple interface, and people from different angles can all play at the same time. I can observe their emotions as well, how they're doing. Now, this is the connection that I was talking through in my speech. So this is a collaborative game, as you can see, and we are really trying to push gaming to next level in this sense, where people are not isolated but connected with one another. The next example is a very interesting example that I would like to show. This application is a 4-player pinball game. The reason why we did this application, essentially, it's a very simple game again. 4 players can play from 4 different angles, and they can all interact at the same time. It's a competitive game. It took us 2 weeks to convert a traditional pinball game into 4-player pinball game using our own software development kit. So as you can see, it allows developers and designers to transform their content easily into Holus-compatible one. It does not require any new skills, and when we ship Holus next year, all the developers will receive software development kit along with it. So as you can see, all the players can feel pretty immersed, and we can play all sorts of different kinds of experiences. The last game here, essentially, this is a gesture-based game. So we can use the controllers essentially as gestures to perform gestures. And it's a simple game, and this is not programmed specifically in a holographic way. It's, as you can see, 4 different sides are 4 different screens essentially, and you have to roll a dice and get a maximum score of 21. If you go over it, you lose the game. So again, simple mechanics, but as you can see, people can perform all these actions. They can be connected with real life, and as well as play the games simultaneously. Lastly, this is an education-based application for kids.
My name is Woody.
Where
as you can see by
they
my
can essentially explore the...
Most of my family lives near to rivers and lakes, collecting tree branches and building dams. But I don't. Are you?
So as you can see, it's an educational related application where I can control this little character called Beaver, and I can go around as well. There are different landscapes, and here kids are encouraged to move around the technology. They are supposed to find some piece of objects where they can only see it from certain angles. And this was exactly what happened again in the case of Macy. So these are some of the demos. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'd like to move to the last part. Thanks. Finally, what are some of the main industries that we see very useful for this kind of technology? As I mentioned, it's going to be $112.9 billion industry, with AR, VR itself going to be $150 billion industry by 2020. Some of the important aspects is family games. We are really trying to push gaming in a very communal fashion where people can all experience at the same time. Education. Imagine parents teaching their kids all in a very interesting, intuitive way. And it also, we have also studied that when you have this physical 3D object with a mediated interaction, it improves your memory retention, and you have a better grasp of 3D complex concepts. E-commerce visualization, you'll be able to have better e-commerce experience at home, where you'll be able to understand, again, the 3D object or any particular object that you're about to buy in a better way. Holographic teleconference, as mentioned, imagine I could be with my mother here, and I literally feel like she's right there with me. That's a better connection than what we have right now. So these are the 4 major industries we think that will have major impact with this kind of technology that we are developing. Thank you. Shashi.